Oh, it's 6:30. Are we good? Are we good inside the booth? Can you hear me? Oh, here comes Lisa Wong. We'll wait for her. Can you hear me in the booth? Good? Okay.
And just a side note to the two new people, just to make sure your mics are on when you're talking, the green button will be on. And we tend to try to leave them on the entire time so you don't forget about it, but
Okay. I'm going to include some introductions. What?
I know,
What clock?
yeah. I don't know when that showed up. Do you, Lisa? Noticed it
Wait, is that
today.
a 3-minute clock for the, is it?
Nice.
All right. Hear ye, hear ye. I'm going to call to order the February 7th, 2024 North St. Paul Arts and Culture Commission meeting. If you could do the roll call for us. Sarah Lang, please.
Yes, Tom Sonic,
Here.
Carrie Neto,
Here.
Amanda Black,
Here.
Lisa Ritchie,
Here.
C. Yang,
Here.
Laura Strang,
Here.
Sharon Clark Williams,
Here.
Lisa Wong.
Here.
And our staff liaison, Sarah Lang, our commission secretary. So before we move any further, what I'd love to do first is just welcome our two new members. And is Raquel online? No. Okay, she's not there. But I want to start by introducing our two new members. We're very, very excited. We have two new commissioners, so we're full at 7 again. This is great. Yes, welcome. And I'd love it if Laura and Sharon, if you could both give a little bit of an introduction to yourselves, who you are, let everybody else, I mean, I've been able to spend at least a little bit of time with you in an interview, know a little bit about you, but if you could share for the rest of the commissioners here and for our viewing public.
And Tom, could we, as commissioners, share who we are?
And then we will also
thank
do that too, but maybe a briefer introduction
Yeah.
from us. So Laura, do you want to start?
My name is Laura Strang. I am originally from California and also came from Memphis, Tennessee. And I've always loved the arts. I was a music major. I love jazz. And I absolutely adore living in North St. Paul. And I live with my 6-year-old daughter, Rowan.
Great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Sharon, we'll go to you next.
Hey, I'm Sharon Clark Williams. I did not come all the way from California. I came all the way from North St. Paul. I am a longtime North St. Paul resident, graduate of North High. I have been trained in the arts from the very beginning, fashion design, graphic design, and classical realism. This is my formal training as an artist. Love the arts, and this was an opportunity for me finally to have time to give back to my community by joining the Arts and Cultural Commission.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sharon and Laura, and welcome. We're excited to have you both here. We try and have some fun on this commission and do some cool things, so welcome aboard. Lisa, do you want to take it and do some introductions?
Lisa Ritchie, North St. Paul resident for 32 years now.
Wow.
Husband was born and raised here. So that's what brought me to North St. Paul. I've always been passionate about anything creative. I have a background in graphic design and interior design, and love to do pottery, stained glass, painting, you name it. It just keeps going on and on. My list keeps growing. So yes, very passionate about anything creative.
Awesome. I'm Carrie. I think I've lived here 20 or so years with my husband and our now 14-year-old, which is crazy. Piano performance and English double major, and worked at American Composers Forum for a while. Now I'm at Hennepin Healthcare Research Institute and one of the original members of this group. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Tom Sonic, I'm the chair of the Arts and Culture Commission, born in St. Paul and then raised in North St. Paul. Left and never thought I'd come back, but who knows, who says you can never come home again? Came home about 20 years ago and bought a house here. And always been involved in the arts, but in the performing area, and I've been a theater person for most of my life. And but also just so desperately wanted North St. Paul to bloom in public art and other types of arts. because I've seen this so many other places, so many other cities that do this so well, and I said, why can't we do that too? Actually, Terry and I talked about this when we were on the council together, and we said, well, we can do it, so let's start an arts commission. So here we are today, but thrilled to be here, and what's our year now? We just re-upped our contract, right?
Another 3 years.
Yeah, so we started 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago. And, you know, the pay and the benefits are fantastic, so I'm just, but, well, the benefits. We're excited to keep this thing rolling. We feel like we really got some good momentum, especially last year. We're looking forward to keeping that momentum going. Lisa?
Yeah, sure. I am Council Member Lisa Wong. I am a liaison to this commission, and I do hail from California, but have been here for about 8 years now. And I wasn't ever trained in the arts, but I can also find it really, I can appreciate it and the social connection around it. So I'm happy to be here and looking forward to the next thing, more work that you all are doing, whatever.
Hi, everybody. My name is C. Yang. So happy to have both of you guys here today and joining our commission. I've been part of the Arts and Culture Commission for 2 years now. I've lived in North St. Paul for over 5 years. And this is a nice, small little community, and, you know, like growing to really enjoy it. My connection to the arts is probably towards the performing arts as well, dance and music, but totally into the creativity and supporting the art scene here in North St. Paul to see if we can make our little city a little bit more lively and beautiful. So.
I am Amanda Black. I am a working artist and have lived in North St. Paul for almost 8 years now. I focus primarily on printmaking, but do a bunch of other things along with that, and I'm growing my woodworking side, so that's me. Oh, I have 2 kids, 8 and 7, 7 and 9. 7 and 9. They're both about 8, so.
Do you know their names, Amanda?
Yes, Tom. My oldest is Tommy.
That's right. Right. I met him.
We call her a lot of things.
Yeah.
We confuse her with the dog a lot.
All right, well, thank you, everybody, for the introductions. We do have a really full agenda today, so we're going to try and keep this thing rolling. So Sharon and Laura, let's just ride with us. You'll be fine. We need to adopt the agenda, so if everyone has had a chance to look through what's being covered in the agenda, unless you want to recommend any amendments or changes, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda as listed.
So moved.
Moved by Carrie,
Second.
second by Lisa. Any discussion? Any changes? Okay, all those in favor of approving the agenda, adopting the agenda as is, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we adopted the agenda. Approval of minutes, everybody get a chance to look at the minutes from the January 3rd meeting. I hope so, and if you have any recommendations or changes, if you could let me know. If not, I will look for a motion to approve the adoption of the agenda, or the minutes from our January 3rd meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Amanda,
Second.
second by C. Any discussion, any changes? Feel okay? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes have been approved. Meeting open to the public. We have, is this where Terry is going to talk, or do we want?
Well,
him
we
to
could-
talk as the Project Snowy?
Yeah, he's here to discuss Project Snowy, but if we wanted to move Project Snowy's update to right now so that we can,
We'll be there in 2 minutes, in
Okay.
like 1 minute.
okay.
So, hang on. Let's just do that. So meeting open to the public, there's nobody here, aside from Terry, who will be presenting in a minute. So we're moving on to item 6, public hearings. We have no public hearings. And commission business and action items. So updates from subcommittees is where we start. And our very first update, always because of our subgroups that we have working on projects, is item A, Project Snowy. So Amanda, do you want to introduce this? Let us know what's happening.
Well, we have plenty of updates, but first I would like to welcome Terry up, and he can give us an update on the sales of our statues, as he has been putting a lot of work over the last couple of weeks to get us a few more businesses committed.
Welcome, Citizen Furlong.
So it's wonderful to see all you here. As Tom said, when we're on the council and mayor, we kind of always thought it'd be great to have an arts council, and Tom's background was kind of in that area. Is your mic on? First meetings, we met with the mural artist, went to his house.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Him and,
Yeah.
just got kind of the ball rolling, and we really wanted to get it going. So it's wonderful to see everyone here, and where you guys have, where you brought it, to where it is today. To see the murals out there, and Silver Lake, and that mural, and, yeah.
From what I understand, Project Snowy was your idea.
What's that?
Project Snowy was also your
Yeah,
idea.
so I always thought that
Certainly
it
was.
kind of cool to have similar to what the Snoopy, the Snoopy statues were downtown, that we have a snowman. Thought it'd be kind of do to have have a little twist to it, where the snowman is actually producing snowmans out in the community.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the idea.
Who knew all along it was a snow woman
Right, who knows?
producing off?
So we could have fun with it, if we want to do the media. I don't know what your marketing plan is for it. But we did meet about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, and kind of hit the pavement just this week. And I got Max Steiner to sign up.
Oh, excellent.
I got Burwell Roofing to sign up. We had been working with the History Museum earlier. They're also going to be having one.
Okay, yeah, I have spoken with Sue Springborn, so I knew that they were, so glad to know that they're,
And then Kevin Fuller at Reflex. they're
oh,
also
great.
gonna purchase
Oh,
one.
excellent.
So this week we signed up 4, and Tracy Luther, he's on the fence, but he is going to give a donation of at least $1,000 to the Arts Council.
Oh, fantastic.
great.
You guys can use that money for however you want to use it.
Oh, fantastic.
So any projects, any smaller projects that you have going on,
Good,
if you'd like to donate 1,000.
That's fantastic.
I did talk to Kelly at Roddy's, and the bars are, because of the price, they would like to, and I'm gonna ask for suggestions from you guys, they'd like to maybe combine with a few of the bars to purchase a Snowy. If that's an option, I said that probably would be, but I wanted to address you guys first, and my thought would be that they would purchase a Snowy, kind of work it out together with them on the
Right.
design. But then I believe each Snowy will have a plaque of who the
Right.
donators are, and they could all be on that plaque.
Yep.
That was kind of my thought.
And I believe we did discuss having multiple buyers for a single Snowy in the past, right?
I think that was before I joined, so
Okay.
I'm not sure where that conversation ended.
We have,
Yeah.
we have.
Kind of talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were considering moving the Snowy from one owner to the next, but we decided against that. That much I do know, but I do like what they're proposing, where they could all go in on it, have their names on the plaque, and then,
Yeah, and just real briefly, I think where we finally landed with all of this, Terry, is that, the North St. Paul Arts and Culture Commission is really helping to facilitate the sale of these Snowies between, what's the company? Tivoli 2 and each of the purchasers, right? So whatever the purchasers want to do with it, once they receive it, you paint it and complete, it's totally up to them. We won't be involved in that in any way. So to your point, Lisa, if they wanted to move it from one place to the next, they can do that if they want to, but we won't be involved in that. So once they receive it, it's fully theirs, unless they were to, donate it back to the city where it would be.
I want to donate it back.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of,
Great.
Premier Bank. would
Yes.
donate it back.
Right.
Yeah, and, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, council does have to approve the purchase agreements as well, and so
Okay.
that is something that we had last night on our agenda. So whatever agreement this comes to be, it should just be reflected in the purchase agreement and approved by legal.
Tom, I would also say that there was one consideration as far as like, like as far as like the benefits that would go back to the purchasers, and like how we had like a gold level and a silver level, and so like, if those people split it up, that they wouldn't get the same benefits, or so I think that was one consideration on why we just did away with multiple purchasers.
Oh, okay.
But like, I'm certainly willing to entertain the idea as well. Still,
Yeah, maybe there's some kind of,
middle ground.
some kind of compromise in there, yeah. Because I think that would be great, and like you said, this plaque, I think we call it a Vomella, right? Or we don't call it, but somebody calls it that, right? Is that-
Vomella calls it Vomella. It doesn't. No.
Well, that's the brand, is that the brand of it?
company.
The company
Oh,
is
it's the
named.
company that makes it, Vomella, so it's a plaque. But yeah, I mean, I think we could put whatever we wanted on that plaque, right?
Yes.
Yes, just about as far as like
The other listed benefits.
marketing, like
Right,
yeah, like
so.
names
okay.
or like events or whatever
Yeah.
kind of thing that we would do.
Sure.
In
Well, we
addition.
can talk about this in
Yeah.
the subgroup or something.
For sure.
Talk through that.
Another question I have was brought up that you need someone to pick up the snowies at the place.
Yes, so there's been discussion, I think you were involved in that when we first started, about just pickup and delivery. Because we're gonna have to get these things from Tivoli too, get them to Public Works, I think, is that where we're gonna paint them?
Yes.
We're gonna paint them somewhere at Public Works Yard, and then deliver them to the owners from there.
So I've been kind of telling everyone that they're gonna be placed kind of by the city somewhere in downtown for a period of time? Or is it gonna be
Yeah, so,
their discretion of where, do you wanna have like a initial,
The current plan was to, after they are painted, have them placed directly in their final locations, and then we would have kind of like a map of where they are. As far as a reveal event, C and I are still working out the details on that. We would want to do something.
Yeah.
The thought process behind that is that it was kind of pricey in order to move them multiple times.
Right.
So we wanted to limit that.
so my suggestion is, can the city pick up the
The-
snowies at,
so I think there's been some pushback from Public Works about taking that liability.
Yes, the liability, and just now that we're starting to sell more, even the size of the trucks we would need, it'd be multiple trips back and forth for that. So it's actually pretty inexpensive to go through Tivoli too to have them delivered.
Yeah, actually, the last meeting that C and I had, we did look at the numbers, and the transportation costs from Tivoli to weren't as shocking as we
Well, they weren't
initially
as bad
thought.
as we thought. Okay, good.
Because they have very confusing pricing, so I think at first we
Okay.
were thinking it was much larger.
Yeah.
It was per statue.
Yeah, it's much more reasonable now that we've looked at it. But that does also depend how many times we are going to move it. We do have Public Works committed to securing the Snowies to their final destination.
Yes.
From the Public Works painting area.
So,
so I don't have to worry about finding somebody to
right.
I don't
pick up?
think so.
From Tivoli 2 to Public Works is still a question.
Well, that would be what Tivoli 2 pays for, or that would be what we pay Tivoli 2 for,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yep.
So
So
we-
that's-
Public Works.
We get them here, and then we have a plan with Public Works to get them to their individual final destination. I think, Terry, some of that original conversation we were having, we're gonna have them painted at Tracy's place downtown, and then we're gonna have them in the parade, and we're gonna do all this kind of stuff, and we got a lot of pushback on that just, it's too much liability to take on, and just the movement, the cost and the ability to move them. So, and they're not outrageously heavy,
Just as the base is the only thing.
Yeah, I think it's the base that really makes it heavy enough so people just don't walk off with them.
So are you gonna carry it for the parade?
No,
Okay.
yeah, but they're, I think they're less than, each one is less than 300 pounds at least, anyway. Yeah. So they're not,
You and I
Totally, yeah.
We'll carry one down the street for the parade
Okay.
and throw Tootsie Rolls out with one.
Skateboard.
Yeah.
You used to skateboard, as I remember.
What's that?
I said you used to skateboard.
Yeah.
Wow, as an adult, I would be,
No,
oh, okay.
So I need help the next, so I think we're on a time frame here. The 15th is,
Correct.
so we're talking another week
Mm-hmm.
to try to get more snow.
So what's our total then right now? So we have,
We are at 7, including the cities.
okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm missing one. I got City, Premier, Max, Burwald, History Museum, and Reflex. Shifski's.
And just to clarify too, Max and Reflex have not actually paid yet, but I am in communication with them, thank you. So they will be doing that next week, I think they said they'd pay.
Hey, this is fantastic. That's a good number, I think.
We
It's
said
not-
5 was good.
Yeah, we were happy with
Yeah.
5, so.
So 7 is really awesome, you know. I think that's probably about where we hope to land, you know.
Get a couple more.
Okay,
Okay.
Be great.
love it.
Old National, I'd like to, or if somebody, if I could get help and somebody go approach them. I don't know if anyone, one of you two
Well,
could do that. The other one is Savannah. I wonder if she would be interested in doing one.
Loves ice cream.
No, oh, Susanna? Yeah, and you know who also seemed interested when we stopped, when C and I stopped there was Metroflex Academy. I don't know how much interest there was after.
Kevin Fuller.
Metroflex, I will see her tomorrow. So I can.
Oh,
That'd be great.
oh, okay,
Debbie.
okay. Yeah, we stopped there and handed off a flyer in the summer, and they sounded very interested. This is the person we talked to.
We
I would
did,
say,
go ahead.
sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
We did have another business reach out to me too, and I don't know if anybody wants to do a follow-up, but the One Up arcade games that's on 11th Avenue right there by Target. He had reached out to me. I sent him a bunch of information, so if somebody else wanted to give him a call too, that'd be wonderful. Okay.
Great.
So I would say if you want to go back to the bars and tell them that they would, if they want to get together, then we're fine with that. Sarah will just get them again a contract that lists all
We'll
of their
make it work,
names
yeah.
together. It's great.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Fantastic.
much,
Yeah, this is
Terry.
really great, thanks, Terry.
It will be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, this subgroup, Terry, has really been putting in the foundational work on this, you know, because we hope to do this in 2022, right? But we're too jammed for time, and then I think Tivoli too ran out of capacity. And then, so last year, we were hoping to get it done, and the subgroup just realized, you know, there's a lot of work to really make this happen and do it right. And so appreciate their methodical approach and making sure all the bases were covered, and, you know, but we did outreach to just about every North St. Paul business, you know, walking the city, handing out flyers and everything, and so a lot of good work has been done on this, so.
Put a bug in your ear about the marketing piece.
Yeah,
Let's make it fun.
yeah,
right.
there's been a lot of
It's
work,
gonna be something that Twin Cities
yeah,
should know about.
yeah, there's been a lot of consideration on that already, too.
Yeah, and we'll be working with Sarah and Carrie on a communication plan, how that's going to be marketed. Before we wrap, on Project Snowy at least, like, I do want to say, like, we do need artists
Yes.
applications. I think, you know, like, we're very solid as far as, like, Snowy statue purchases, but we really need artists who will help with the work. And if anybody could reach out to their networks, share online. I know there was a posting already on Facebook, on the city's Facebook page as well. And so if anybody could reach
Sarah,
out.
did you get that, Carrie sent you a list of the muralists that? we-
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I reached out to them. I think I've reached out to probably a total of 250 different artists.
Wow.
Carrie did post on different Facebook pages that C and Amanda suggested. So we have put the word out there, but we've only gotten, 7 responses or so.
One thing I want to mention is we did find out that you can post call for artists through Springboard for free.
Oh, yeah.
So we did list this on Springboard as well, and
good,
hopefully
good.
we're getting a few more artists through that.
Excellent. And, you know, we can extend that deadline a little too, can't we?
I don't know if we can.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean,
Okay.
C and I are going to talk about some other options if we do not have enough artists.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Terry.
Thank you.
Yeah. One thing, so we have a lot more, and I think this other subgroups as we're going through probably don't have as long of an updates. But one thing I just wanted to mention to Laura and Sharon, you're hearing about these projects tonight. I think I may have mentioned in our interview process that we have a 7-member commission in a big part so that we can do sub-team work in between meetings without violating open meeting laws. Because otherwise, we can't get anything done if we only all meet once a month. So all of these projects that we take on, we have these subgroups, and they'll meet maybe once or twice in the month in between the meetings. And even that can vary. Sometimes we don't meet at all in between meetings. It just depends on the thing. But what I'd ask of both of you to do is listen to these projects that are being discussed, and if there's any one of these projects that you would like to be attached to and be a member of that subgroup, please let us know, because 2 people that that left the commission at the end of last year were members of these subgroups, and now those subgroups are missing people. So Project Snowy is one example. So C and Amanda are the key players now on that, but we had another member of the commission who was also on that project. And I think we're gonna need a lot of help on that project in specific this year as things really ramp up there. So just something for you to think about. And then when we get to the end of the meeting, we're gonna do updates from commissioners. This is just a regular part of our meeting. And so if at that time you say, hey, I'd like to be a part of this subgroup or that subgroup, you can let me know. Or if you're not sure yet and want to let me know separately at a different time, that's fine too. Okay, next project is the murals. And I'm going to ask the subgroups, if you could, to just talk a little bit about what your subgroup does, you know, what you've done so far, what your plans are, et cetera. So Carrie or Lisa, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so one of our initiatives has been murals in North St. Paul, and we had some really good data from citizens about places where they thought they wanted to see a mural and things they wanted to see in a mural. So last year, we were fortunate to have some funding in our budget to put out a call for artists, and we identified the Silver Lake Bathroom Building as like the #1 place people wanted to see public art. So we wrote up a proposal, we had artists apply, and we found a fantastic artist out of Wisconsin who came to Silver Lake, sat in the park, watched with his kids playing all around him, and he noticed the foliage, the nature, and the red-winged blackbirds that came to the park. And so he developed a mural that really pulls in those elements. And I'm so proud of that mural. It's beautiful. I drove my mom past there when she was visiting a couple months ago, and it was just a joy to be able to say, hey, look, here's something we did in North St. Paul to really make it nice. And, you know, public art always draws a little bit of ire from people who think it could be different or done better or whatever. But, you know, I think it's great. So that was our first home run, really proud of it. And now we have to do another one.
Yeah.
So we have some money in the budget this year, and we haven't met yet because it's only February. So we need to do that. That's my update. Thanks. How'd I do, Tom?
Thank you, Carrie, that was fantastic.
Okay, good.
Utility boxes, this is, so C is also on this one, and I've been helping out. But C, do you want to give the update on this one?
Sure, just a quick overview as far as what utility boxes mean is that we provide, we're doing art wraps around utility boxes. So if you've been in Minneapolis or other cities, they do a little art on their otherwise very plain or very lackluster utility boxes. And so So far last year, we have wrapped 4 boxes. I don't know if you guys have seen them. They are along 7th. One is in front of the bookstore, 2 along 2nd and 3rd and 7th, and then a second one over by the condos, 2nd and 7th. And so there were like heartstring ones, and then there were like nature photography ones. And so this year, we are going to continue doing those utility box wraps. And this year, our focus will be on building more community engagement, also tying them into with a cultural focus, and along with involving the high school for one of the utility boxes, since it's rather close to the high school. So far right now, we have met once as far as like kind of doing early discussions on what our plans are for the rest of the year and how we plan to engage them and what kind of rollout or phases. So the plan is to reach out to the high school, get that one started so that we could have wraps done before June. So that is the update for now, more to come.
Thank you. See, any questions about utility boxes? Next up is Art Cart. Lisa, Richie, and Amanda are taking the lead on this one. Either of you want to talk about this one?
Go ahead.
Still on hold. We haven't done anything
Yep.
with that. During the winter months, we usually don't. So that'll start ramping up. Well,
I think the first thing will be in June, so
yes,
we
the
have,
first event will be in June.
yes.
We'll have to do a call for volunteers prior to that, and I think I wasn't sure if it was
I
March.
think
or
we were
April.
planning March.
March,
Yep.
okay, so next month we'll
Okay.
put a call out for
So
volunteers.
do you two plan to get together to come up with like an annual calendar or something when we see the Art Cart rolling out, or?
Well,
Programming.
yes, we can discuss that. There's some events that we know for sure, because we'll coordinate with
Right.
music in the park. It
Yep.
will depend on, oh, no, that would be for the activities at Casey Lake. So yes, we can definitely come up with something, and it will all be dependent on how many volunteers we get.
Yeah.
So would the commission like to see it happen, or Lisa, I don't know if you have an opinion, more than just music in the park, or kind of keep it just to music in the park?
I don't know if there's a, I can't speak for the whole commission, but I would just say that, you know, when the first year we did it, the intention was to have it available daytimes in the parks during the summer, so that we could get kids from the community, you know, the way it was when we were kids, you know, but kids don't go out of the house anymore. They don't go into the parks in the summer, it seems like. So when we did these events, we would have almost nobody show up.
Right, during the
So-
day. So we did switch it to evenings, and then a big part of the reason we only committed to the music in the park is I was the only one that was there with the kids working. I did have some volunteers that would come and help, but I can't commit to a number of things. So if we do get volunteers that could work in the evening,
Right.
yeah, we can certainly plan more events, but it'll all depend on how many volunteers
Yeah,
we get.
I think it's wide open if we can get volunteers, and if there's ideas of where we can attract people. I think connecting it to the music in the parks and some of these other events, you've got built-in attendance, you know,
Sure.
from other things. So
Yeah.
we got the music in the park dates, we got the Autumn Arts Festival, you got the city night at the car show, so that's already 5, I think.
I will say there was, from the survey that we'll see from the paint night, there was a request for more kids' activities. So,
So it's possible that Art Cart, the first year, just didn't get to the marketing and knowledge that it needed, and
Could be.
maybe the timing, maybe we need to do it in the evenings, not
Evenings
just
for sure.
because, maybe it's not that kids aren't going outside during the day, but if we have working parents, then those kids aren't necessarily at home.
exactly,
So if we do evenings
yep,
instead, yeah,
sure.
Could be.
okay.
Message to everybody on the commission, everything's on the table all the time. Like, if you have an idea of something you want to do, let's talk about it. Let's do it.
Sarah doesn't like that.
Sarah and Lisa bug me at every meeting. Why don't you do more as a commission? Lisa Wong is always telling me how we're so lazy as a commission, never getting anything done. No, no, but my, what I mean is within, at least within these things that we're already doing.
Yeah.
You know, so we've already established the art cart for a few years now. If you want to do something different with it, hey, it's painted orange right now. You want to paint it purple? I don't know, paint it purple. You want to do something different? You want to do different programming? You want to do it at parks? You want to do it underwater at Silver Lake? I don't know, whatever, well, whatever.
At the very least, even if we don't know volunteers, we could plan out some projects and make sure we have the supplies for those.
For sure,
And then plan some TBD projects.
for sure.
Right, yep. As long as someone volunteers to,
Oh, what I'm saying,
even among us, there has to be someone to lead it.
I don't even mean like officially, but you and I can get together and just plan some projects that we have in our back pocket so that
Oh,
it's ready to
yes.
go, so that when we
Absolutely.
do have it.
Yes, with, just a reminder too, we did buy the stuff for the stamps and the mosaics
And rock painting.
and rock painting, and we have canvases, so we do have some good stuff.
Yeah.
But there's always room for more.
We have a lot of supplies already for different projects, so.
Yeah.
utilize them.
But, you know, you know, maybe you mix in some live performing to go along with the art.
That's what I was just thinking.
Well, I heard both Laura and Sharon are into live, and you also see live performer, right? Live music?
Well,
Can't do an Elvis impression.
but Tom, you were a theater kid and
Didn't you run a theater?
I
Like-
did,
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's kind of, it's a real collaborative thing.
Well, we had a
Improv.
really great paint night. I meant to bring my canvas along to show you, but
Speaking of
I
paint night.
completely forgot. But Lisa ran a wonderful paint night. Fantastic. We had, what, 10 attendees, 11 attendees. I learned that the area that my house is in was used to be called Strawberry Fields. I
What?
learned that from our 65-plus-year-old attendee, Greg, who is wonderful. It was such a low-key, welcoming environment. People really enjoyed it. So you'll see in the packet, Sarah and I have been working, and Lisa have been working on putting together some opportunities for other artists to come in who do this kind of work, just to get some different art going in and other ideas in there. So very excited about that proposal.
Yes, so there, you will see in your packet, there's a couple proposals that if we want to vote on tonight, we certainly can. Carrie and Lisa did some wonderful research finding these two artists. They can speak more to what they do and who they are, but,
Credit goes to Carrie.
Are we,
100%.
Carrie,
are we
okay.
there now? Is this, are we moving on?
well, I think Carrie moved it on.
Yeah,
You're on a different schedule because it's not following our agenda here.
You're crazy, Tom.
No, but updates from subcommittees goes first, and
Okay.
then community craft at Autumn Arts, yeah. So we
wanna
get,
talk about Arts
you just gave
Festival,
the
or wanna
paint,
go
you
through
just gave the paint night?
I did, I was
update?
giving
Yeah,
that.
okay. Well, then Autumn Arts Festival is the last one that we do. But, so,
Well, let's go back to paint night, because both
Okay.
the paint night and the Autumn Arts Festival have the additional things in the
Okay,
packet, so we'll just
okay.
go that route. So with the paint night, I called it art night proposals on there, because we can be open to doing other things as well, not just the painting, but these two artists happen to be painters. In here, I have highlighted,
Us what page that's on, and
yes, 17 and 18.
thank you, that's helpful.
Both of these proposals, I have highlighted in yellow what questions would still potentially be out there or need to be answered either by us or the subcommittee. And then in blue are the proposals that I just threw out there. We can certainly have that open to discussion. Like I said, if we don't want to vote on this today, we can certainly revisit again next month. But I think it's a great opportunity to have some local artists come in and lead a class. So if there's any questions or anything, we can all try to answer that.
no, so, yeah, I think these are great. So the blue is what your proposal is, but did the artists themselves have?
Yes, so if you look above the instructor fees, like for the art night proposal 2 on page 17, the instructor fees, they show that they do $50 flat fee per hour. Or $60 depending on how many participants. So I took the higher of the two. I figured they'd be there about 2 hours, so that's kind of where I went with it. Carrie and I spoke briefly before the meeting today, and we think that If the artist can provide the supplies in both of these cases, that would be ideal. That way they know exactly what they're working with, and we don't have to deal with ordering things and making sure we have the right quantity of items.
Yeah.
So I think that's wonderful. So I put those proposals here. If they're too low, too high, whatever, we're certainly open to discussion on that.
And sorry, Lisa, I think this would allow us to be able to do 2 events with each of these 2 artists, which I think would really, people really enjoyed that paint night, and I would like to see that continue. Sorry, Lisa, I
No,
talked over
that's
you.
okay. My comment to that is I would like to see, even though we talked about whether or not it would be a flat fee or what the instructor charges, I would like to see a minimum of $200, I mean, minimum and just a flat fee of $200, because if the instructor that's only going to charge $50 an hour sees that someone else is charging $100 an hour, I don't think that's fair.
Sure.
I know we originally proposed 500, but from what we've seen, they're closer in the $200 range or less. I would like to propose $200 as a flat fee. And then we'd have to do some kind of consideration. Maybe we say, okay, $250 and you get your own supplies, or something along those lines. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of thought about that same thing. So if you ask somebody how much you would charge and they tell you, do you say, okay, we will pay you that, or say, no, we will pay you more so that it's fair with other people? And I don't know if there's a standard practice in those types of things, but I mean, if we're saying, hey, how much would you charge to do this? And they tell us, and we say, okay, we're gonna pay you. Because I think we're gonna hit that same question when we start talking about the Autumn Arts Festival, and you talk about these performers.
Oh.
Is all those performers have different prices.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And so they did last year too, and we just said, well, they were all way above what we could pay. So we just said, well, we can only pay you this much, and so you can do it or not do it.
Okay.
So I mean, but here, this is the opposite of that, where we'd be paying them more than they're even asking for.
I do agree with that. You've convinced me that there's a reason for it. and-
Yeah, I just think it's good for discussion, but.
I think if somebody says, I'm asking for this much, and it's within your budget, you give them that much. C has,
I have a question for clarity. I see that for art proposal 1, shows that, like it says class type 8x10 canvas, but then down in the supplies needed, it says any size will work, but 16x20. And then for the art night proposal number 2 with SWACA, it says an 8x10 canvas. So I wasn't sure if for art proposal 1, Jeremy, if it is the 8x10 or if it's a 16x20, because then like the size of the canvas.
Well, they're two different classes. One of them is for the mandala, and then the other one, so it would be up to the instructor.
right, she's saying art night proposal 1 uses 2 different numbers
Well, I
on the
think the
same.
instructor uses a larger canvas to do the instruction. I think it's the way
I've seen that before, yeah.
Oh,
Kind of blows it up so that you can see it.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. So I think the class participants get the 8x10.
I see.
The instructor works off the 16x20.
yeah, makes sense.
Good catch, Laura.
So, and I think that's just, as far as the payments are concerned, I mean, so if one artist is saying I charge $100 an hour, and another one says I charge $50 an hour, we can pay them what they're asking for if that's within our budget. And it may just be the one that charges $50 an hour, well, we might go back to that one more often because we can fit it in our budget. And the one that charges more, we may not go back to. So, I mean, that's just the way, the economics of it, right?
I think we should just test it out because maybe
Yeah.
one instructor is more aligned with the needs of North St.
Could
Paul
be.
and the other
Yeah,
might not.
yeah. But I think this was really great, Sarah. I think it's great information.
Well, Carrie did a wonderful job.
I did all the work on this.
No. Okay, so I'm gathering that we're interested in doing one night for each of these to start with? Is that where we're headed, or 2? 2?
2 for each?
2 for each?
So that's 4 art nights?
Okay,
What's our budget in that?
2,500.
2,500. So we have plenty of room.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so then I think we just need to make a final proposal and then vote on it, and I can get moving on contracts and do the whole bit on my end. So,
So we can make a motion to approve 2 nights, or 2 separate events for each of these artists, dates to be determined. So we can take from our budget what is required to pay both of these artists. And the dollar amount may be finally determined based on whether they're supplying the supplies or not, right?
yes, yep.
Okay.
But I think we can vote to say as long as it's within budget.
Okay. I'll make that motion that we approve the budget to spend up to the total for those, both of these artists for 2 nights, dates to be determined, up to the amount for their fee with supplies.
Are we still charging participant fees as well?
Oh,
$10.
Yes,
Be like that flat $10
oh, okay.
fee.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. I'm good with that.
Is that a second?
That was a second. Sorry, I didn't know there was a first.
I was making that motion.
Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we got something done.
About time.
About time. All right. Now, do you want to tell me what's next on this schedule, Carrie?
Your event, Fall Arts Festival.
Oh, geez,
I can take that to start with.
please.
Because there's 2 attachments that kind of relate to the Autumn Arts Festival. So Carrie put together, on page 13, I think it's 13 through 15, her proposals, what she's already booked, what she's already done for the festival. Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
please clarify that there's another Carrie that works for the city? So when
Yes.
she says Carrie, it's not me.
Yes, I can say her last name, Carrie Erpenbach.
Thank you.
Put this together. It's a lot of information to take in. I would say the subcommittee would probably want to meet or talk through some of this. But there are some things today, just so I can keep it brief so we can go on to the workshop, that need to be decided today, or at least formal recommendations from us that I can bring back to Carrie. Those things will start on page 14. As far as the first thing she wants feedback on is education and community outreach opportunities. And what she's thinking there is what the feeling is by the commission on inviting local art groups, whether that's theaters, painters, anyone that wants to come and set up an information table for a portion of time, maybe a couple of hours, to talk about what they offer for North St. Paul residents. If we have interest in that, I can
I
pass it
like
to her.
it. So they're setting up and just to be, in effect, they're like the artisan booths.
Can I give a couple of suggestions?
Absolutely.
Articulture,
Okay,
Articulture, all one word.
okay.
Curiosity Studio.
Okay.
I don't know if either of those charges or if they do these types of events, but they are groups in the area to look at.
Wonderful.
Also, the Minnesota Center for Book Arts. I ran into them at a festival or at a fair this last year, and they will bring out a very small press and press postcards with people.
Oh, cool.
That one I do believe they charge, but it's worth looking into to see if they do anything else. But it was really exciting to see it as a printmaker, so.
I think, yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Goes along perfectly with this.
Perfect.
Good recommendations.
The second thing is the face painting, balloon art, children's entertainment. This is by Touch of Magic that was recommended by some members of the group here. She has listed what their cost is for various things that they offer. And she's just looking for some direction if we're still interested in having them there. The great thing about them is they're all insured, bonded, everything is done for us. So we just bring them in and they know exactly what they're doing, but they are a little expensive. But we can do balloon artists, face painting, a comedy show, whatever we think might work best, or we can look for others as well. It's just we're not sure the quality there.
I just want to make sure that Tom also saw, we talked a lot about stage and tent, and did you see the costs at the end for that?
I sure did.
So if we
And
take
I-
into our
Yes.
budget considerations.
And I wonder, Amanda, if our subcommittee maybe, I mean, I saw in the minutes that we're dissolving our subcommittee, but I think it's still worth meeting to discuss some of the particulars of this, because I think when you look at all the things that are in here and the proposed costs against our budget, I think we would have to talk to make some decisions about what do we value the most to try and do here. So it's kind of hard to give, like, I saw this stuff too with the cost for the face painting, balloon art, all that stuff, and it's like, wow, that eats up a lot pretty quick. And then, you know, the idea of having a real stage with, you know, a tent over it, that's the whole budget. So it seems like, well, that's out, you know, we probably won't be able to do that. We just don't have enough money.
Could
But
you ask Carrie what her suggestion would be on where to put their performers if we do not have a stage and tent?
She was really big on, I did ask her that, really big on the same location that they were in previously. It's a big enough space. And then if we have chairs, either we get chairs here or we rent chairs, we could make a better presentation there
Okay.
to draw more people in as
yeah,
well.
'cause what's the deal with bingo? Do we have to have bingo at this?
That's a Park and Rec initiative to have their little involvement.
One of these things is not like the other, is my point, you know, and so it takes up prime real estate inside that building where we can have other things set up and
Well,
especially.
and she was having the community craft inside the building. We're getting a little bit off topic, though.
Yeah, so anyway, what
so-
else do you need to know? So
Can we TBD on the face painting balloon artists for
I-
Tom and I to meet?
right,
Yes, but I would say before our next meeting. She said that needs
Oh,
to
yeah,
be decided
before next
like
meeting.
now.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I'll put TBD on there and I'll let her know it'll be sooner than later. The other thing, she wanted, if there's any recommendations for food trucks that you guys are aware of, certain cuisines that you'd be interested in seeing there that she can target.
I would just love to see a larger variety.
Okay,
Last year, there were maybe, I know we were tight, but 4 of the 5 or whatever had a cheeseburger on their menu, and that's what I would like, is variety.
you know, every cheeseburger is different, Amanda.
I'm not going to eat 4 cheeseburgers.
okay.
I have no recommendations on that.
And then the last thing she needs is kind of a new thing to us, is on the last page, because she had heard feedback on accessibility, she had reached out to a company that would be able to, for a fee, provide us with a mobility scooter and power chair for that day, depending on what legal says. We have not heard back from legal yet, but potentially, that could be a potential item that we have there. There may be a need for a volunteer monitor for that, just to make sure everything goes well with it. But if that is something that is of interest of you, she can continue to pursue that. Otherwise, we can just end the
I love
conversation
the
here.
Creative problem solving.
Okay.
Tom? Do you have an opinion?
I don't.
Okay.
No, okay,
I think it is, well, and it's 175 for the whole day, not for an hour or anything.
correct, the whole day, for both of the mobility scooter and the power
Yeah,
chair.
okay.
Yep. So. If there's any, no interest, yes?
Look into it, yes.
Look into it? Okay.
Sarah, just to clarify, did you say all of these others are already booked, like the entertainment stage?
Yes, she booked the entertainment. She did. And I do think I think she did a great job in getting a variety of people as well. If you can see on there, she's got the Irish dance troupe that is going to teach lessons for youth during their performance. So that's kind of a different thing. Flamenco dancers, the steel drums, which was based on, the steel drums and the flamenco dancers were based on feedback she got from residents when she put out what would you like to see? So she did book those. And then the Women's Drum Center is really cool. That one, they're going to actually lead a craft as well for building drums. They're going to bring all the supplies too. So
Question about that.
yes. What is your question for that?
I just saw that it was under the art cart part, and,
Is it under the art cart part? Does she?
well, she just said women's drummer will host 1-hour session to make your, and I just
Okay.
didn't,
That was not,
that's semantics of whether it's under art cart or not, so I just wanted to
Not.
make sure it wasn't.
it is not part of the art cart.
Yeah,
That is in the
it's
wrong
not part
spot.
of our art cart, it's a different activity.
Correct.
Okay.
So she did book those as well. But that is all that I need for today. I would say considerations for next meeting would be the bingo, if we do continue with that, if there's prize recommendations. I know that there was last year interest in doing art-related prizes. Be the same for this year if we continue with bingo.
Can we recommend that Parks and Rec does a bingo night some other time?
We can, we can, or my thought was we can
Yeah.
move bingo outside too. There's that extra shelter where Taylor did the painting last year.
Let's see if we can make it a nature bingo and make
That's
it more
fair.
parks themed.
That's fair too.
Actually, okay. What else was I gonna say? So Art Cart, Lisa and I will talk more about what thing to do
Yes.
there. The story walk,
Yes,
I love that.
that's fantastic.
My vote, I don't know if everyone else has read forward in this. My vote would be to choose one of the Spanish/English books, and I'm curious if that means that the text will be in both Spanish.
Yes, it is.
I like that.
Do we have any other language options?
Unfortunately not.
What is that? What is the story walk?
Where you have the pages of the book and then you walk along the path and it's like you're reading the book.
So it'll be like a yard sign.
Yeah.
Each page of the book is a yard sign. It's an illustrated kids book.
Okay, okay.
And that was something suggested last year as well from people, so. Otherwise, you don't have to give feedback today on anything else. If you want to send an email to me too and let me know if you like things, don't like things, have other suggestions, that's totally fine. But as far as today, I think I've gotten my answers. We just will need to know for next month, the prize recommendations for bingo, if we continue with bingo. And then I think that's it for next month. So otherwise, any other feedback is certainly welcomed. And then,
$2,700 of our budget is already accounted for,
correct.
the booked.
And then, so we had the total of 6,000 for the Autumn Arts Festival. They're not doing food truck night this year. So that $1,500 is being reallocated to us as well.
Oh, okay.
But that is probably gonna go to an inflatable because that was so popular last year. We're gonna bring in another one.
I thought there was some concern like they didn't, or just didn't have enough volunteers for that.
That is, so we're gonna, their Park and Rec suggested we bring in a company to do it.
Oh,
So that's where some of that money is gonna go towards. So they monitor it, we don't have to do anything.
And do they cover the liability on that as well?
Yes.
okay. Anything else on that?
I do want to mention, Amanda put together a community art project, which is also included in the packet. We don't need to make a decision on this necessarily today either, but that starts on page, let's see here, 9, of some options that we could have inside the building at the Autumn Arts Festival. I think they're wonderful options. I don't know, Amanda, if you want to speak to any of those a little bit more.
I'll just
But-
kind of give a really quick, because we're trying to keep it short. So these are 3 options of what we would do for community craft during the Arts Festival, varying levels of effort needed from visitors. The first one, obviously, is a photograph taken of each person with their hands in a heart shape, and then assembled later on. Second one, each person would be given a small canvas that they could paint however they would like, and then assembled into a larger display. And the third one, very similar, but a little hexagon watercolor page that again could be assembled later on. With the hexagon one, it would still look okay assembled if we didn't have an even number essentially. Whereas just the canvas one might want an even number. Anyway, and then afterwards, we displayed somewhere public, and we can decide on where that would be in a future date too.
Nice work, Amanda.
I like
love
them all.
of 'em.
Yeah, we should do all of them.
I like them all too. I like the second one the best as far as like people to be able to express themselves, but I think they're all really neat.
I think the first one would be super easy and quick to do.
If we have someone who can just run the camera all day.
Would it be every attendant or anyone?
Anyone who chooses to.
Okay, so that
That could be huge.
Yes, yes. And with all of them, we could assemble them into smaller pieces that could go in different locations too, depending on how
Sure.
many we get.
There's no minimum or maximum number of participants needed?
No?
The Hearts of North St. Paul.
Oh, love it.
So we can put that
We
for
can
next month or something?
Yes, yeah, and then, yeah, next month we'll talk about what supplies we'll need.
Yeah.
Any other recommendations based on that. That money will come out of the event fund. The only thing that's gonna come out of ours in regards to the festival will be art cart related. Everything else will come out of the event fund, but yes, absolutely next month, if you have any formal recommendations, I can pass those along.
Okay, does that get us through?
Yeah.
All right, now we have, paint night survey results.
We had some great survey results from Paint Night. You can read about them in the packet. People really liked it. They thought it was clear direction, great encouragement, casual. Would like to see more art events, more social posts, more family options, more craft nights, pottery, crochet, jewelry, anything art, plays. They want plays, Tom. Looking for food trucks and art fairs. And we had a good smattering of ages from 18 all the way past 65. Thanks for pulling these survey results together, Sarah.
Absolutely.
Okay, now we have a more serious business here is to update the bylaws that we have. So in our interview process for new commissioners, we had the fortunate problem of having 3 people interview that were all very high quality. And it was difficult difficult for us in making a decision to say that we would choose 2 of the people and not the other. And Commissioner Wong actually had the idea of what if, because one of the applicants was also a student, a college student, that we could potentially use that person to fill our student commissioner position. And when we looked into how our bylaws are written, the only problem that we have is that it currently states that this person is enrolled full-time in secondary school. And so we thought about that and said, well, if we just drop secondary school, or if we added in, is what is proposed here, secondary or post-secondary school, that would work. And then there's some language about the length of the term. Sarah, do you want to just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So currently, as you know, your terms, whether you start, like, we have 2 people starting today, technically your term started in January, so it runs the entire calendar year. The proposal in here is to update to 1 rolling year for the student commissioner. So if we have our student commissioner start in April this year, they would finish, their last meeting would be March of the following year.
And would that be re-uppable?
Yes,
It would be?
Yes.
So if there's a person who is interested to stay another year or more, they could
yes.
potentially stay on that way. Any thoughts or questions about this? Yes, E?
Could I ask a question about the term full-time? Is that mandatory, or what if,
That's a great point. I don't know.
And what if they graduate? Can they stay on for their full term?
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Like, so my assumption would be they would stay on their term regardless of
I believe they can finish the term.
finish
Yes.
that term at least, yeah.
Full-time, I don't think that's a mandatory thing. I can certainly change that if we have language we'd rather see in there.
yeah, I'd like to see some inclusivity about, like, folks that, are part-time and they maybe need to work, so,
So it
like,
could be in-
we could be a little bit more open.
So there's 2 ways we could go here. I mean, it currently states that must be enrolled full-time in secondary school. So we could say must be enrolled in school,
Yeah,
or we could say must be enrolled in secondary or post-secondary, so that, unless we want like a kindergarten commissioner or something like that.
so it could be like a trade school or something even, so it doesn't, like, have to be a
Right, because is the
post-secondary
trade
school.
school considered a post-secondary school?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it complicates it in any way by having the language too specific. Generally speaking, in policies, it does, but
I would suggest just going to enrolled in secondary or post-secondary school.
I agree.
I can like do, okay.
Okay with that? And then is everybody okay with that length of term?
Yes.
And do you think we need, I think Laura brought up a good point, do we need to stipulate that, you know, if they complete school at some point in their term, they can still fill out their term?
I can add that language in there, yep.
So I'll make a motion then to follow the staff recommendation with a minor change here, changing the bylaws to state that the student commissioners must be enrolled, not full-time, but just must be enrolled in secondary or post-secondary school.
Sorry, could I have another question? Our bylaw says we could have 2, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, just confirming that. Thanks.
And staff also recommends changing the bylaws to state that student commissioners shall serve terms of membership not to exceed 1 rolling year per term. So I move to make those changes.
Second.
Second by Carrie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. So that said, then we do have a student commissioner ready and waiting.
Yes, so what that schedule will look like, just briefly, is this will go in front of council at their next meeting. Then the following meeting, they can approve her as a commissioner, and then she'll start in April, which she is aware of that schedule and okay with that.
So for the commission's awareness, so Raquel Soto is our new student commissioner, or will be as soon as the bylaws are changed. Because does the nomination of Raquel as the student commissioner then need to also go in front of
Yes.
council and be approved? Okay,
Yes.
so that'll have to go in front of council and be approved hopefully at the next council meeting,
Yes.
or whenever, before the.
Yeah, that would be in March. There's a meeting missing in March for council because there's an election.
Oh,
So it's kind of spaced out goofy, so she'll start in April.
it'll be April before she can start.
Yep.
Oh, shoot. Call a special council meeting. All right, okay, so moving on then. Bylaw update, so we got that done. Old business, any old business? I don't think so. Item 9, reports from staff, a budget recap. Sarah, do you want to take that?
Yeah, we don't really need to talk about it because there was no updates to the budget, but I was asked to add this into every meeting that we have, just so you guys can see where we're at with the budget, but no purchases have been made.
Okay, reports from commissioners then, and this is where we go down the line and ask each commissioner if you have anything that you would like to add, anything that's on your mind, or anything that's going on in the community that you're aware of. Or if you have nothing, that's fine too. Sharon, I'm going to start with you. Anything?
Other than I'm glad to be here, I do not have anything to add.
Okay, thank you. Lisa?
I don't have anything either.
Okay, Carrie?
I would like to give a special thank you to Ron Ritchie, Randy, Carrie Erpenbach, and Dan Winnick for hosting the open houses the last month. That was a real fun time. I had some hopefully constructive feedback for that. I really think we should do that for the holiday hop or National Night Out. I think we should do that more transparency for our residents. I really enjoyed it. I would love to see that repeated. I would also like to thank Tom for his presentation at City Council January 16th. I thought that was super fun. I had to work, so I missed the 622 district event last week. I'm sorry, I'm such a slacker. And Sarah and I were able to attend the State Arts Board accessibility webinar today, which I think was great. I'm excited to see where we go with that as a city, because I think there are some great directions we could go there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll thank Lisa and Carrie for joining me at the council presentation of our accomplishments for the Arts Commission. Other than that, I don't have anything. And C.
I also wanted to say that we do have somewhat of a subcommittee for the culture part of the of our Arts and Culture Commission. So, and we have a special workshop coming up after this meeting. So, look forward to that. The only other thing I wanted to say, and I want to say this because I might forget, Sarah. For the utility boxes, so kind of looking as far as like using like community engagement, if we were to offer like opportunities for people to submit art, we're also thinking of like providing like I don't know what the right word is, but like a stipend or an award or something, you know, like for that art. So kind of like early, discussions with you on how that might work.
Like for a rock dragon girl? A rock snake girl? Is that what you said?
So like, like a $200
Yeah, for the people who do
Who-
some
who-
community art thing?
who we've selected to provide art on a wrap, right? And so like kind of like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was conflating that with the community art. Like if somebody from the community does something that we recognize them with some kind of award or, like the, but you're talking about strictly
Monetary,
something for the people who designed the
yes,
utility box, yeah.
yes. So if we could talk about that and how that might work.
But that might be something to also think about, because I think about like the rock snake girl. So if somebody gets recognized in the community for doing some cool art in the community, that maybe they get a gift
A
card.
Vamela.
Plaque. You get a plaque on the curb saying someone did art here once.
That's all.
Thanks, see, Amanda?
I have nothing.
Laura?
I would be interested in joining subcommittees. I'm interested in Project Snowy, the Utility Box Project, and the Autumn Arts Festival. Whatever you need help with, I'm happy
Okay.
to join.
Okay, we can talk about that separately with the leaders of those groups. So the Arts Festival, probably we don't need anybody there just because that's been mostly taken over by the city. But Snowy for sure, we would need, and maybe utility boxes as well, so.
Could I also publicly recognize the person we've invited to help facilitate the workshop today? So Jocelyn Razzie, who is a great facilitator, and she's going to lead us through a workshop about culture, and that will be after this. So wanted to just publicly recognize her and thank her for her time tonight.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Sorry, we had such a packed meeting tonight. We're trying to move through this, but. Yeah. Right. Member of the public, you can join. Reports from council liaison.
Sure, yes. So in the last month or so, we've had 17th and Delaware. That development has been decided. We had originally 2 developers. There was a bit of a delay, and so there was one developer that did rescind their proposal. And so Andrus, I think Andrus or Tracy Luther was given the bid for 17th and Delaware, and that will be 10 single-family homes. They'll be side by side. They're one-story buildings with a finished basement. There will be about an acre or so that's preserved for stormwater catchment, green space. The EDA, there's discussion on the EDA to be, or EDA and the council for the EDA to become essentially the council, and an EDA commission would be created. So that would be in a recommendation capacity, and then there would be no authority to levy. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is partnering with RPD. RPD will assign an investigator to a regional task force for violent crimes. The BCA will cover the cost of that investigator. The McKnight overlay, Ramsey County has a project right on McKnight here from 11th up to Beam Avenue, and that will be a 4 to 3 lane conversion. And that should help with some of the traffic and improve the flow. So the city has jurisdiction with the parking, however, so we were presented with 2 options last night for between 13th and Beam Avenue. Option 1 was 13th and Beam to maintain parking as is and a shoulder, and option 2 is dedicated bike lane to swap with that parking. It was a 3-2 vote, so option 1 was the choice. 13th and Beam to maintain parking as is and a shoulder. Arts and Culture Commission, I think we approved Premier Bank's purchase agreement last night. I was able to attend the ISD 622 State of the District. And the school district is really interested in having more arts. So there may be a wonderful partnership there. I also saw North Haven Church there, and they had a discussion with them, and they want to volunteer. They're eager to volunteer. So North Haven Church there on McKnight, about McKnight and 17th-ish, or 16th. And then we'll be having more discussions regarding the community center / multicultural center. Just to review, we received $4 million from the state legislature in the last session. $800,000 from the federal is still pending, but despite previous councils approving to retain the community center, there is some discussion requested for reconsideration. And I'd say the open house was really great. I got good feedback from commissioners and staff, and I just think it was a really good way to build community and empathize with each other. So I can take any questions after the workshop.
Thank you, Councilmember Wong. That brings us to item 12, which is adjournment. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I motion to adjourn this meeting. I motion to adjourn this meeting.
Seconded.
Second by Amanda. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned at whatever time it is right now.
7:47.
7:47, and now we are going to move just down here, right, for our workshop.
Yes.
Do we need anything down here? Do we need a pen, paper, anything?
I think she's providing markers
Okay.
and Post-it notes, so we are good to go.
Oh, I see there's, okay, there's a thing, there's stuff